All right, welcome back. We're going to be talking about step 2 in the clear goal setting process. And hopefully you've got an idea of what your vision is. What is that goal that you want to achieve? If you were to go 1 year in the future, 1 year in the future, it could be any time in the future, it could be 1 week in the future, it could be 1 month, it could be 10 years in the future, but identify that specific time frame in the future. And part of the process of setting goals and creating clear goals is to be able to identify the time by which you want to achieve this time, because as we talk about engaging your subconscious, we'll be talking about the rules of the subconscious. One of those is the clarity as it relates to time. When you're able to set that target and program your mind to focus on the target, then all of a sudden goal setting becomes natural and automatic. How many of you would like that? Say, oh yeah! All right, so we're going to be talking about the second step in the goal setting process, which is creating leverage in your life. So when I talk about leverage, what do I mean? There are two things that motivate and drive us, and I really want to acknowledge Tony Robbins for the understanding that he's helped me to gain in this. Tony Robbins talks about these two motivating driving forces that we have in our life. The two things that create momentum and movement and cause us to do things. Number one is a fear of what? A fear of pain. Right? And the second one is a desire for... That's right, a desire for pleasure. So these are the two motivating driving forces in our life. Pain and pleasure. The pain-pleasure principle. Now, looking at this, we are constantly either being driven away from pain and desire for pleasure. Now, what's interesting about this, which of these do you think is more powerful in terms of creating motion and emotion in your life? Which is more powerful? Yeah, you're right. Pain. How did you know? Right? We will work much harder to avoid being hurt than we will necessarily to do something that will make us feel good. Right? So pain is the primary driving force. So when we talk about giving leverage, it's about identifying the power between these two principles. Now, the key for using this in your life is to get excited about the possibility of the future. Now, which of these do you feel like is related to the future possibility? Yeah, exactly. If you get excited about your vision and you really are able to tap into why it's important to you, like why you would do anything in the world to make this possible, it's that pleasure. You know, a lot of people I know, they have this desire, quote unquote, you know, I want to be financially free. I want to do this, right? And they have all these wants. But a want is nothing more than a vain desire. It's not a commitment. It's not like, I need to have this or I will blow up and be really, really sad. All right, so if you want to get a goal, I'm just saying give up right now, right? If you want to achieve a goal, forget it. Stop, right? You're never going to get there based on want alone. It's got to become a need. It's got to become like something that has to do. You have to be committed to it. All right. All right, so we're going to get focused here. So you got to tap into the pain. You got to be able to identify why it is a must that you change, that you start creating these results. And part of that must becomes from pain. So looking at this area that you've created this vision, you know that you want to achieve something powerful in a year from now. Right? Focusing on the goal that we worked on last time. That pain is got to be related to where you're at right now. When you look at that gap that you're experiencing from where you're at right now, if you were to identify on a scale of 1 to 10 where you're at, number 10 being that future possibility number wherever you're at right now. If you're a 4, if you're a 5, if you're a 6, right? Now, is that okay with you? Are you satisfied? Are you content with being a 6 in this area? If the answer is yes, go home. Stop watching this. You're wasting your time. You've got to be committed to the results, and you've got to see the cost that it's having in your life. What is the cost? For me, in my life of living at this level, what is the cost? And I'm not just talking about the cost for you. If nothing were to change, what would be the cost for you in your life? And I'm not talking just about you. What's the cost in your relationship if this doesn't change right now? What is the cost in your finances? What is the cost in your health? What is the cost in your emotional well-being? What is your cost in your spirituality? What is the cost if nothing changes? And I want you to go ahead and take a few minutes right now and write down. Write down and get very, very clear. If nothing changes in my life, if you were to look 1 year from now and you didn't do something different, would it be the same? Would it be better? Or would it be worse? I don't even need to ask you this question. I know that for most of you, for every one of you, it's going to either be the same or worse if nothing changes. And even if it was the same, it would always be worse. It just is, right? If nothing were to change, it always gets worse. And are you willing to deal with that? When you see what's possible for you out there, are you willing to continue to spiral down in this swell of mediocrity? What's the cost? And what I'm going to have you do right now, I'm not going to give any more training, but I'm just going to have you write. Take about 5 minutes and write down and just really get in tune. And this pain has got to be connected emotionally, because this is where the leverage comes. This is where the energy will come that will drive you forward. You've got to come to the point in your life where you're able to say, not anymore. I'm no longer willing to satisfy for where I'm at. It is time to change. And knowing that it's time to change, this is your opportunity to do that. So go ahead and get clear right now. Get a piece of paper and write down, what is the cost if nothing changes? Find this pain that you're experiencing and write it down and just get really clear on it. If you're not crying, then keep working at it. I'm kind of kidding, but I'm kind of not kidding, because I want you to get the results that you want, and I want you to see what's possible and to understand that it is possible if you change, but if you don't, you'll continue to experience this pain. So remember, write this down. I'm going to be sending the next video very shortly so that you have that, so you can take it to the next step of, now that you understand where you're going and the pain if you don't get there, let's talk about engaging your subconscious. This is Gerald Rogers. Remember, you have one life to live. Live big.